by doing away with speech, Solomon felt more at one with himself and his Creator than he had ever felt in his 38 years of life. Still, he didn't regret breaking his silence. He had known for nearly a month that this day was approaching. When he woke and saw the early morning sun piercing its rays through the mouth of his cave, he had known immediately that this was the day. It was time. Time for him to emerge, time for him to speak, time for him to reach out across the ocean and gather unto himself the pieces of his self he had left behind. Stepping into the daylight, he had looked for the only person he had seen since first arriving on the island, the fisherman, his unspoken friend. Venturing out only at night to bathe in the moonlit sea, Solomon had often noticed the fisherman casting his net in the darkness. The fisherman would wave to him from a distance. Solomon would wave back. The gentle communication of those waves was the only human interaction Solomon allowed himself in his months of isolation. One night, at the beginning of Solomon's second month in hiding, he dragged his canoe from the cave and joined the fisherman in the water. Without saying a word, the fisherman threw Solomon a bag of bait and allowed him to fish by his side. It was as if he understood that Solomon was not yet ready to speak. Toward 3 a.m., when the weather turned cooler, the fisherman had taken off his jacket and tossed it to Solomon. It was an act that sealed their friendship. After that night, on the rare occasions when he didn't go out with the fisherman on his nightly jaunts, Solomon would stand in the mouth of his cave and whistle to let his friend know that he was alive and well. Solomon watched the fisherman heading for a cove of rocks. Having finally spoken that morning, he realized he hadn't asked the fisherman's name or given his own. "Hey!" he shouted across the waves, even though he knew the fisherman was too far away to hear him. "My name is Solomon." Solomon smiled at the pleasure of hearing his own voice. "Solomon Wilberforce," he said, introducing himself to himself. "Nice to meet you, Solomon," he replied politely, amazed at how completely himself his own name made him feel. The fisherman rowed his boat around the curve and disappeared behind the rocks. Solomon felt confident that his package would soon be safely on its way to England. He purposed in his heart to do something good for the fisherman in return for all his kindness. Perhaps send him money as soon as he returned to civilization, or better still, buy him a brand new boat, a houseboat that he could sleep on, a home. Solomon's mind wandered back to the package. It should reach its destination by the end of the month, and around then he would send the fisherman to Cape Corcos. Then what? It was too much to think about now. All he knew was that when he had awakened that morning, it had been crystal clear to him that it was time to return to his life. Stepping through the door of the small dilapidated post office in the center of town, the fisherman did his best to ignore the station's security guard, who was staring at the fisherman's bare feet as if the sand falling off them onto the old tile floor could cause some kind of permanent damage. Swiveling his sack off his shoulder, the wary fisherman removed the package, and holding it in front of him as carefully as a child holds a ring pillow at a wedding, he walked ceremoniously to the back of the line. 20 minutes later, when it was finally his turn to be served, he placed the package on the counter and handed the clerk the note written by the stranger of no words. The clerk read it, sucked his teeth in irritation, picked up the package, and disappeared into a back room. The fisherman stood, nervously wondering what had happened. It was his first time.